Hello. I hope everyone's doing well today. This is Husbands Love Your Wives and podcast. And I want to welcome everyone here today on Husbands Love Your Wives. I am your host, Janet M. Belton, and I am so grateful and so thankful for being here today. I want to ask you all to call your friends, your family, and or anyone who you believe would enjoy knowing and having a conversation about what we're talking about today. So we're going to ask you all also to like, share, and subscribe. If you have not already done so, like, share, and subscribe. This is Husbands Love Your Wives. And we come on every Monday at 5 p.m. or around 5 p.m. And we have conversations. And we talk about how husbands can love their wives a little bit better. And so, because if you are married or if you're thinking about marriage or whether you're newly married or been married for years, we know that marriage consists of work. And it takes work for a marriage to work. And so this is Husband Love Your Wives. We're going to talk about today. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about today. Well, I think we have a very interesting subject today. We're talking today about when the parent in the home is absent, when the parent is present, but yet absent. That's what we're talking about today. When there's a parent in the home, they're present in the home, but they're also absent. And so we're going to deal with that just a little bit. And I know everybody may not know about that, but this is Husband Love Your Wives, and we're going to just conversate a little bit about that. When a parent is present in the home, but yet they're absent. And I want to come to talk about it, with the fathers, because this is Husband Love Your Wives. And I'm talking about, because I want to encourage men to not only encourage husbands, men, husbands. I want to encourage you all not to just be present in the home physically, but it's good to be able to uh, be there emotionally, be that support. And so that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about on Husbands Love Your Wives. We're talking about fathers, parents that are present, but yet absent. And I know a little bit about this, and I want to talk more about the fathers in this area. But I know mothers can be like that as well. They can be present, but yet they're present in the home, living in the home, but they're really not there. Right. And so it's very important that because we're not trying to dishonor any men, any fathers. We're not trying to do that. But we want to be honest. OK, we want to be honest about the lack that is in the homes. And so I want to encourage the men. I want to encourage them that, that you look at yourself and you acknowledge. I want you all to acknowledge when you're missing, because your wife, she feels it. The children feels it, because a husband is supposed to be in the home for guidance, for affirmation. They're supposed to be in the home. Husbands, you're supposed to be in the home. And I'm not talking about husbands that work and they're taking care, they're providing for the home. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about when husbands can be in the home, but yet they're absent. They're not there. They don't participate. They don't show affection. They don't show affection. They're so some husbands are so busy in work or involved in sports or in, and there's nothing wrong with liking sports because I like sports myself, but it's a time for all things. And so we're talking about what it's like for a father to be present in the home, but yet absent. It's very important for the father to be not only present in the home, but they can make a connection, you all. Fathers making a connection with the wife and knowing about what's going on with the children if you have children, knowing what's going on, in the family. Some husbands, they're involved in different groups, a different church. You can be involved in church a lot. And I believe in church, but I believe that there's family time. I have a daughter that she always, normally, she has a special day for the family. And she'll say, okay, well, Wednesday night is this night for the family. Friday night is this night for the family. And that is a good, I'm just giving some examples, but I want to talk about how a parent, and I'm pressing more toward the fathers, can be in the home, but they're really absent. And I want to share this so that if you have this, husbands, we want you all to come more better in the connection of the family. You want you to be, we don't want you to worry, but there's a lot of emotional things going on in the family. And sometimes husbands are somewhat disconnected with the family. They're disconnected because they can find other things to do. Okay. And so, for instance, a husband may say, well, you know what, honey, I'm busy. I'm busy with work, or I'm busy with doing this, and then the wife is left a lot of times with everything. She's doing everything. And I'm not having this podcast to make anyone feel bad, but we want to be honest. A lot of times the wife is left to do most of the work in regarding the home. And so I wanted to this conversation. I wanted this to be a good conversation. I want to see if I could look and see about the comments and everything, because this is important. And I'm going to tell you why it's so important. If you have children, husbands, the children will remember who you were as they grow older. They remember how dad was in the home. They remember also how mom was in the home. But they remember how dad was in the home. Yes, they will. And if you were an absent father, you were there, but you were absent, as some people say, absentee of a father. You're absentee of a father, because some children are reared in the home and there's no father there at all. Okay, but I wanted to touch the area of when the father is there, but he has hardly anything to do with the children. There's nothing and so, the fathers need to put in time with the children, with the family. Okay, and like I said, this is not to dishonor the father, but it is to say, okay, Dad, we know that you're not there. We know that you're not there. You're here physically, but you don't support us. You don't have anything. The responsibility is always on mom. Okay. And so that's what we want to talk about today. How fathers are in the home, their parents are in the home, but they're absentee parents. And so I want everybody that if you're here, I want you to look at yourself. If you're a father, and just notice if you and I'm gonna tell you who the hardest it hits, and I'm not trying to throw anything off on the young ladies, but it's hard to hit with the sons. When the sons don't have a father, let me tell you something, it's rough, because I know a lot of men that are into church or are doing other things for themselves, but they don't spend time with their sons. And that could be a very negative impact on that son as they're growing older. Okay? Let me see if I have any I want to see if there are any because I remember, I want to see if there's any, let's see if I can look it up, you all. I like to see what you all are saying, if I have any people out there talking to me, because I know this to be true. And some fathers don't even really have a relationship with their children. They don't have a relationship, you all. Let me see if I can see. I love to see there any, and they don't have. Here we go. Thank you all for joining us with Husband Love Your Wives. And I apologize, but I see it now. Thank you so much, Curious Doctor. Thank you so much for subscribing. Yes, they are. It definitely creates a void. It does. It creates a void for the children when there's a parent in the home, but he's absent. And so, all right. Yeah, Kim. All right. We got some real ones on here. All right. And so it can be very sad. It can be very sad for the fathers to not pay their children any attention, and they're in the home and they're not paying their children any attention, not giving them any attention. Okay, they don't have that emotional support. They don't have the physical support. When I say that, there might be some teachers that wants to meet the parents, and some parents, men come out, but most of them are the mothers that's coming out. Most of them are the mothers that's coming out. But I just want to say that I believe in the father. If you're in the home, I believe that you should be an active participant in the home with the children, because they remember, and that there's a void there. And yes, it is. It's very sad for the children to be raised and they don't even have a relationship with the dad. It's a sad situation. So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how is it when children grow up, and because a lot of times, if there's a male that the mother is raising and the father's in the home and they don't have a relationship, that son is learning most of everything from the mother. And so this is what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about, I got some tips, you all, that I want to share with you all. I want to share these tips, okay, of how many fathers were never taught to be emotionally intimate or even a nurturing. They wasn't taught that. And sometimes it looks like it's unrealistic, but some of them were not taught to be there for their children, be there for the family. I have a quote here that says, you can forgive someone and still accept they may never become who you needed. I want to share that. And I remember, I think it was Oprah Winfrey who had said, I believe she had said something about her mom. And she was talking about how she had expectations of her mother, but her mother she never became the person that she believed she needed. And that is so true in a lot of, in many homes, that your parents, and I'm not saying your parents should be everything, but God requires parents to be providers, and God requires parents to be support for the family, for the children. God requires parents to do, female mothers, male fathers. It's a child is looking for guidance. And a parent, both of them need to be that guide for their children. Because if they don't get that guide from their parents, they would definitely get it from someone else that might not be the good guidance for them. And so number 2, let's go on down here. Number 3, don't let the parent's absence become your identity. I just want to share this here. Don't let the parent's absence become your identity. There are some people that grew up without their parents supporting them. Okay, the father never was a support. They left the family. Some fathers are in and out the house. I know someone has been through some of this before. Some fathers, they are there sometime. And then sometimes the fathers are not there at all. Now, some fathers give up the rights of the children. They just give up their rights. And they don't want to have anything to do with the children. And that can leave a scar on the child, because it leaves something like a spirit of rejection. It brings a spirit of rejection toward that child. And so a lot of times children are seeking approval from the parents. And it's hard to desire approval from the parent, and the parent is not even in the home. And even if the parent is in the home, a lot of them don't really, they are angry, or they have such a bad attitude. Sometimes the children don't even want to deal with them, because they have such, and then sometimes the children can see that they can get along with others, but they can't get along with their children. They can get along and hee ha ha with other people, but then when it comes to children, they can't even hold a good conversation with the children. Okay? And so I want to say this because I want to encourage men, to ask themselves, am I trying to prove my worth? Do I struggle with emotions myself? And is that the reason why I don't want to be a part of my child's life? Do I struggle with different things in my mind and in my spirit? Do I withdraw from my family, from my children, when they really need me? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about absentee fathers. They're present in the home, but they're really not present, or either they're not present at all. And they a lot of times people are self-centered. Sometimes people are so self-centered that they are not really thinking or conscious, let's say that word. They're not really conscious of how the children feel when they're not supportive to the children. Well, this is Husband Love Your Wives podcast, and we're talking about absentee fathers. We're talking about fathers that are in the home, but they're not in the home. Their minds are somewhere else. Okay, their body can be there and the mind can be somewhere else. Or some fathers are not in the home at all. Some fathers are not in the home at all. And we have to say, I love to say, well, I have another daughter. I love to hear it say, some people are just unwell. Some people are just unwell. So fathers, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but we need to look at ourselves and we need to see if we are well. Because, if you're an unhealed father with open wounds, you need to be healed so you can have a healthy relationship with your family. So you can have a healthy relationship with your wife. So you can have a healthy relationship with your children. You need to be healed, fathers, from the wounds of your childhood. You need to be healed. All right? Because when you're not healed, then it can just be terrible for your children because you can have emotional distance. You don't want to be around the children because you're still carrying something inside. You still maybe remember that maybe you didn't have a good relationship with your father. You didn't have a good relationship with him. So therefore, a lot of times you have to watch yourself, husbands and gentlemen, fathers. You have to watch yourself so that you will be healed. And then you can have a healthy relationship with your children because you think children don't see that. They do. Children see if you have difficulty leading the family. They see if you have difficulty being an emotional support or showing love, showing care. They see this. Children see. You think they don't, but then when they get older, they can talk about it. Because some parents, fathers, you better not say anything to them because that's the way they were raised. And they were so mean. You better not say some things to some parents, some fathers. They'll tell you to go sit down, go shut up, sit down, and they don't have, it seems like they're punished the children for coming to them to want to say, hey, Dad, I'd like to have a relationship with you. And they might not really say it like that, but they're trying to do things. They have a better relationship with their father. But they don't know that the father has unhealed wounds himself. He unhealed. And some men that are unhealed, then they find other things. Listen, ladies, if you're a lady, if you're a wife, I want you to hear this. Okay? Some husbands are so hurt, so unhealed, that they have to find other things to do to calm their mind because of the trauma that they had as children. But guess what? When you're in a relationship, and before you get married, you don't know all that. You don't find that out until after you say, I do. A lot of times you won't find that out. And that's the reason why it's good to talk about things before you marry someone. What do you believe in? How do you believe raising the children? Do you believe the wife needs to do everything? What do you believe? How do you feel about such and such? It's good to talk about that, because if not, you'll be in for a surprise. It's good to know what the intentions of a man before you make him your husband. Okay? It's good. And so it's really, it can be different. I've never been a father. I'm a mother. But it can be difficult. Fatherhood, it can be difficult. Okay? But it's so important to have a good father in the home. Okay, now I'm talking about something I really know about because I had a very decent father in the home. So I do know about that. But everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't experience it because there's a lot of fathers that are not there in the home. It really is. Okay, but there's a lot of fathers that's not present in the home, and if they are present, they are absent. There's a lot of fathers like that, but I want to say this here. But come Father's Day, they want you to get that towel, that watch, or that socks. Those socks they want a Father's Day gift. Okay, all right. But I just want to say this, and I thank you all for tuning in to Husband Love Your Wives. But I want to challenge the husbands. I want to challenge the fathers to be present in the home emotionally. Don't not just physically, not just sitting there. Have your mind occupied with television. What's for dinner? But talk to your children. Have a relationship with your children. Have a relationship with your wife. Some people, they so into whatever they're into that they leave the wife out, and they'd rather give the wife money than to spend time with her. And that's showing love, you all. It's showing love when you want to spend time with someone. Quality time. Quality time. That's love. Not just, oh, well, and then your mind is somewhere else. Be present, fathers. I challenge you to be present. I challenge you to show affection to your family. Show affection to your wife. You might not was raised with it, but that doesn't mean that you can't be affectionate yourself. You might not wasn't raised with an emotional present father, but that doesn't mean you don't have to be one yourself. Okay? And I want to say this, and I hope I don't lose a lot of people, but I'm going to say it. Apologize when you're wrong and mean it. And because back in the day when I was coming up, all older people seemed like they were right all the time. Children were never right. Okay? But when you get older, you find out that that's not true. Older people can be wrong as well. Okay? Older people can be wrong. And so when you're wrong, I want the fathers as well as mothers to apologize when they're wrong. There's nothing wrong with apologizing to your children because really they're little people and they are the future of tomorrow. They're the future. And so I just wanted to get on here and talk about, that's what I wanted to talk about. Parents that are present yet absent. And it means so much to the children. It'll mean so much to the wife when you're present. Okay? And, I want to say this. Now, there's some people that seem like the father just don't care. There's some people that seem like the father's not there. He don't want to be there. He's never there. He always finds something else. Let me tell you something. God is a father, Almighty God in heaven. And I don't know if you all believe in God, but I do. And if your father has let you down and he hadn't been there for you, he could have been nothing. When I say nothing, I mean you didn't hardly ever saw him. Some people around here don't even know who their biological father is. Okay? But I can say this, God can be your father. Almighty God in heaven, he can be your father. And you need to let God father you. This is a tough subject, because I know it can be touchy to some people, that you did not have a father. Never. Your father never was at any school event. He was never at the dinner table because he's always somewhere else, always doing something. Didn't hardly give you no money. Didn't, you know, you know. I mean, some people's situation is just horrible. It's horrific. It's, you know, and I just want everybody to know that, you know, hope is not lost because there's a God in heaven. There's a God in heaven, and He can be that emotional support for you. He can support you every which way, every way you need. He's a great support. The word of God said, when my father and my mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up. That's what the word of God said. When my father and my mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up. And so I just want to share this with everybody. I thank you all for tuning in to Husbands Love Your Wives. I know this is kind of a deep conversation for some. Okay, I know it's kind of heavy. All right. But a father's emotional absence may have shaped your past, but it does not have to define your future. I want you all to hear this because I want to say this in closing. A lot of people have had fathers that's been absent, but I want to share this. A father's emotional absence may have shaped your past, but it does not have to define your future. Healing is possible. Love can be learned, and presence is a choice. Oh, yes, presence is a choice. And I want all those fathers out there to be a father that's present, not only in physical, but emotional support and whatever that child needs. And then, you know, the glory of the children are their fathers. Husband, love your wives. And I know the wives will be so much more happier when those fathers are there, present for their children in every area of their life. I love you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. And I just want to say, tune in on Mondays at 5 p.m. to Husbands Love Your Wives. I love you all. Have a blessed night. Peace.